This is the Awakening Podcast with Jordan Case and Chris Hubble. We're going to free ball. We're going to free ball this one. We're going to talk about, let's talk about the universe. Let's talk about the universe. I mean, that's pretty fucking broad, but.
We could try.
Is there other life out there? I mean, did you?
Yeah, of course there is. Of course there's other life. Just like there's other life on this planet.
Did you hear
there's
about
not just
that?
Humans here. There's animals. So I'm sure there's other shit out. And,
yeah,
it makes sense. I mean,
did you read? There's a while ago. I mean, who knows if it's true or not? We're just gonna talk. We're just talking, free balling. There was this Russian kid. This news article on this Russian kid that was saying all kinds of crazy shit. He was talking about how he was from Mars. You read that? I mean, this sounds fucking crazy, but
like a child.
A child. He's like, yeah, I'm from Mars. And he was saying all these different things that people were like, what? No, you're crazy. And his parents took him to someone. And they're like, there's no way he could know this stuff. He can barely read. He can barely read right now. So how does he know this stuff about Mars? And he was saying how he's basically embodied. And he was actually from Mars, but re-embodied into being a human. He said, no, everybody thinks like something happening to the outside of the planet. That's why it's the way it does. It doesn't have any life. It's because they live inside it. And so he starts talking about all this crazy shit, and I don't believe it necessarily, but it's still a crazy idea to think that. Okay, that gets you thinking in the sense that there has to be more life out there. I mean, how many galaxies are there? How many different planets are there? I mean,
infinite.
Yes. And it goes inside itself, right? So, universe shrinks down to, say, the Earth, and the Earth shrinks down to a tree, and the tree goes down to a leaf, and the leaf goes down to a cell, and then it goes down to an atom. Right. And they just found that shit goes beyond atoms, so it never ends.
I don't think it going down or going up it ever ends. I don't think they've found ever the end. And why are we trying to find the end? It's why are we trying to find the smallest part? Why do we have to make everything separate everything, give it a name? Why, you know what I mean? Like, everything's organized and then hierarchical, like, you know, way that I don't really understand why. I mean, I think it's good to ask why these things are, but to put a label on things and then say you have it all figured out, or to try to master.
Isn't that crazy, though? I mean, this is something that came to mind to talk about, is that people were like sheep. I mean, everybody's heard that term, sheeple, you know? And to think that life doesn't evolve or change from being under the corruption of a government or people, or, like, I mean, day in, day out, there's a lot of people that are so focused. And I think that's why we made this podcast, The Awakenings, to get, people thinking, to get people to just think outside the box for a second instead of being on the assembly line of life. Going to work every day, worried about what they're going to eat. Am I going to work out? Am I not going to work out? And then going home, and then eating whatever they thought about, and then going back to work the next day. Did the Chiefs win? Dude,
they wonder why they're miserable. I don't know why I'm miserable, but I really got to get, promoted in this company and make more money so I get more toys, so I can owe more money to work more and continue doing things I don't like doing. Like, I don't
materialism.
It's kind of like when you focus on something, like you just said. Like, if you focus on one little dot, you don't really see anything. Your peripheral vision is kind of gone, and you're focusing on that one thing. And when people are like that with their lives, I think when you talk to them about things that don't have to do with anything of those focus items, they kind of deaf ear you and kind of just give you that mask on personality, the boxed answers of "How are you doing today?" "Oh, I'm good. How are you doing?" Like, and you say those things almost subconsciously because you don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Because you're too focused on, you know, the argument you had with your wife, or what, you know, where your kid's going to go to college, how are you going to get promoted, how much money are you going to make today, you know, all the things that actually. Who's to say we're in control of anything? Because I mean, there's some days I feel like, okay, I'm gonna go get my car and drive to work, and I can't fucking stop it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I have no control. I have to do this because if I don't go to work, I get fired. There's consequences. I don't make any money. On and on and on. But is that really true? I don't know. Like, some days I just want to get in my car and fucking drive somewhere. Should I get in my car and just drive randomly to New York and see what happens? Who fucking knows, dude? Like, but you always have this feeling of like you're being
Paranoia.
You're puppet. You're like a puppet. Like, you kind of just are in this thing, and it's the same shit every day. So
It's kind of sad because, I mean, you live. I mean, well, that topic's debatable, but for you know, hypothetically, we can say you live one time, you die, and say you are blessed with 100 years to live, and on the grand scheme of the Earth being here for billions of years, like that 100 years is minute. It's here, gone, and on this Earth, people are thinking, like, if you look to the neighbors beside, they have the same flag out, they have the same truck, fuck, they even probably mow their lawn in the same triangle fucking pyramid
like the
pattern,
Truman
you know,
Show
the
or
cross.
whatever.
Yeah, it's stupid. And what my point is that when you're born, you pick. You pick. All right, you may not pick your parents, obviously. You may not pick, you know, your social status, but at the same time, you go to school. You get to pick. What do I want to be? Do I want to be a punk rocker? Do I want to be the jock? Do I want to be the cheerleader?
Yeah,
do I want to be the nerd? And so you pick that, and then you go pick your religion. Do I want to be Christian? Do I want to be Buddhist? Do I want to, you know, Confucianism, Hinduism? The list goes on. Then you pick. All right, do I want to be a mathematician? Do I want to be a scientist? Do I want to be... And it goes on and on. So you pick all these things in life, and so you're picking labels that describe you, but is it really you? Because everybody else gets this pick from the same labels. You know? It's like, it's a crazy thought that this assembly line of life, you live only 100 years, say, like we just said, and you have labels to pick from, and are you limited to being just that? That's sad. That's sad. You're trapped in a box.
That's what like all these psychologists talk about, and philosophers talk about your ego and yourself, and just who, you know, do you know the real you, and like, you know, is your ego's all the things you identify with, and your personality and all those traits that you just said that you create for yourself, you know, and you start getting belief systems in it, and you start getting labels in it, and then, you know, pretty soon you forget that we're all the same. We're all the same clean slate. You know, I think there's personality traits and genetically, like, certain things are preset. Like, when my oldest was born, he was pissed off right when he was born, man. He came out, he was pissed off, and he was a, you know, it took a lot of energy to raise him. And he's still like that. He's very emotional. He wants to win. He's a perfectionist. Like, he's my youngest, the opposite, man. He was the complete opposite. He came out, he's like, whatever, man, I'm here. Like, you know. And he's kind of like that now to some extent. You know, he's competitive too, but, you know, I think genetically you're probably predetermined on how you...
Character-wise.
Yeah,
well, not character, because that can
it's probably,
be morale.
Yeah, it's probably nature versus nurture type things, you know, but I think... so who's to say, man? Maybe our life is already mapped out and we don't really have control on it. Because if you... that's a big debate, man. I mean, that's nature versus nurture. What is it? Do you learn all these habits? Do you really have freedom, you know, to do what you want? or do you not? Like we could both quit our jobs right now, but then what? Like you'd have to go find another one.
Yeah.
Okay, so what if we quit and start a business?
You know,
We're just going to start a business.
You
and
know,
quit.
it's crazy. There was, speaking on this, when I was in college, there was one of my professors, Randy Cloud. He was from California, and he said, he was going through his, doctorate program or whatever with one of his best friends at the time, and I think his best friend's name was like Tim or Timothy or something, and Tim graduated, got his doctorate, but guess what? He's homeless. To this day, Randy Cloud will go to California and drive up and down the streets looking for his buddy. So that makes you wonder why someone that intelligent, doctorate. I mean, well, not saying everybody that gets a doctorate is super intelligent, but at the same time, I mean, he has to have some discipline, some knowledge to get to that point. And for him to live a life being homeless, well, there's something to be said there. Why would you do that? Unless you thought or understood something someone else didn't understand. Would you want to be not part of corporate America? So I'm not going to participate. I would rather be homeless than be a part of this assembly line of life. Is that what you think he was saying? I don't know.
Who knows? Maybe he was in fucking a war, dude. He has PTSD, and maybe that shit's fucked. Who knows, man? Like, everybody has their own story. Mm-hmm. Like, I could see, like, in myself, what would I want to put on that? Like, without knowing, like, what would I like to think? I would like to think that he was so fucking smart, he figured out that it's all bullshit, and that the less you have, the more humble you are, and probably the more connected you are to the other things that we talk about, to like nature and God, whatever.
More and more.
I would think a professor. I would think somebody though that went through so much schooling probably doesn't. It's probably atheist, maybe leaning on that side, or maybe not. Maybe he had an awakening or opened up consciousness, or like maybe some kind of spiritual thing. Or maybe he's just mentally ill. Who knows, man? A lot of those homeless people are mentally ill.
Yeah.
A lot of them aren't. A lot of them are just... Imagine being able to go wherever you wanted, man. And you're good with it. And you don't give a shit what other people think. You know how much freedom that is? Just to not give a shit? Really not give a shit what people... I mean, you're standing by a stoplight holding up a sign like, need money for food, And those, like, people in Southern California that do that make, like, fucking $100,000 a year, dude. I mean, people are like, here you go, you know what I mean? They make a shit, I mean, I don't know if that much money, but they make a lot of money. They probably make as much as me and you, and they just don't give a shit. They'll stand there with dirty clothes and hold up a sign. You know what I mean? Like,
there was a guy that did that who was, like, I don't know if he's a millionaire, but, like, he made fucking good money and dressed up as a homeless guy, and then he went around the corner, got in his fucking Range Rover.
You ain't paying taxes on it.
No.
Right? You're not getting screwed. You're not in the cycle. You're not in the go to the cubicle, get on the headset, or go in and fucking do the same shit 8 to 5.
Yeah.
That most of us are. You're not really in that anymore, but it's, it is the same shit though. Like,
it is. I mean, if you're not, it's crazy, man. Because even if you own your own business, even if you have figured out how to make money while you sleep, you're still chained. You're still chained to the business, and the business is chained to...
I just think it's... I don't know, man. Like, I think it's just fucking people, dude. Like, I think, like...
Selfishness.
I'm a people, too. That's including me. But, like, where are you from? What part? Oh, yeah? Oh, you live over there in Quivira? Oh, yeah, what part? What part of Quivira you live on? Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I know right where that is. That's so what do you do for a living? Oh, okay, well, yeah. Yeah, oh, is that your big Ford truck? I really like trucks. I have a Dodge. You're a Ford guy, huh? I bet you like the fucking Chiefs, too. Yeah, what about fucking football? You know what I mean? It's the same shit, dude. It's the same shit. It's the same jobs. It's the same shit. It's the same conversation. It's the same fucking, like, like,